Daniels of the Boxers Trainers channel, and it's 3 o'clock, and we are live today talking none other than boxing. And I hope there's a few of y'all in the chat that potentially and possibly would like to come on a live chat with Jack Daniels of the Boxers Trainers channel and have a live conversation if you have any scrutums about the topic of the day, which is the WBO lightweight champion of the world, the WBO lightweight champion of the world. And that happens to be none other than Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis is really growing up fast as far as I'm concerned, because at first I wasn't a big fan of Keyshawn Davis. And after the last fight with Dennis Barichak, right, I was kind of like still on the fence. But since Keyshawn Davis had went on the record and said that he'll fight anybody, he ain't scared of nobody, and it surfaced that Edward De Los Santos wanted that smoke from Keyshawn Davis, right? And I say smoke because Keyshawn Davis, right, really hadn't proved himself. I mean, so to speak, hadn't proved himself, because actually he has demonstrated that he is of world-class status. You know, and that's what this conversation is about today, right? So lately, as of late, Keyshawn Davis went on the record after having had Edwin De Los Santos make the suggestion that he wanted all the smoke, especially as it pertains to Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis, responded in like fashion and says, all you got to do is sign the contract. Let's do this, right? And I'm like, I mean, wait a minute. I'm like, I got to back up now off of Keyshawn Davis, right? Because, you know, after giving a lot of consideration to Keyshawn Davis and what Keyshawn Davis really represents and how he got to world-renowned status, right? I had to go all the way back and look at what stable is Keyshawn Davis under, right? And it didn't become transparently obvious at the time that Keyshawn Davis was a world-class boxer until I gave consideration to the fact that the stable that Keyshawn Davis is growing up in, right? And that happened to be in and around the pound-for-pound king, the two-division undisputed world champion, seeking for a third undisputed world champion, and that's none other than Torrance Bud Crawford, right? Torrance Bud Crawford is in the, let me say it retrospectively, Keyshawn Davis is in the same stable as Torrance Bud Crawford. So I didn't give consideration to that when I was evaluating Keyshawn Davis and his propensity to grow to greatness. And that's exactly what he's doing. Today, he has demonstrated that he wants all the smoke, right? Now, was on the table about 2 weeks ago, and I think I did a video on that, I want to say the lack of desire for Keyshawn Davis when it came to Andy Cruz, right? Now, Andy Cruz is a times gold medalist, amateur gold medalist, right? Olympic gold medalist, mind you, right? And to become 2 times Olympic gold medalist, you got to put in some work. I mean, you got to continue to perpetually grind at your craft, right? And at some point, you either get good enough where you can go back the second time after you have acquired it the first time and acquire a gold medal the second time. Now, look, let's be realistic about this. To acquire 1 gold medal is a feat in and of itself. But to acquire 2, look, that cat, Andy Cruz, had to put in the necessary work, right, to become good enough to go back on a second occasion and get another Olympic gold medal, right? So, look, let's be perfectly clear about Andy Cruz's ability to get in the ring and do what he do, right? Andy Cruz, in my opinion, is one of the best lightweight champions, one of the best lightweights in the world. He hasn't got that belt yet, but I think and believe that Andy Cruz one day will become a world class, world boxing class boxer, right? It says that he'll become a champion one day. In my opinion, that's what I believe as a result of studying Andy Cruz. But I was on the fence a couple of weeks ago, like I said, in regards to Keyshawn Davis not really wanting to fight Andy Cruz. And I could understand Keyshawn Davis' position because Andy Cruz, like I said, he ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? But it appears that Keyshawn Davis ain't playing neither, right? Now, here's the thing. Keyshawn Davis, again, said that he ain't got a problem with fighting Edward De Los Santos. Edward De Los Santos, let me remind you, had an occasion with Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson ran all over the ring trying to get away from Edward De Los Santos. That was because it was well known that Edward De Los Santos has the power, right? And he wasn't a bad offensive, defensive-mindedly boxer, right? And Shakur Stevenson knew that. So the thing at the end of the day petered out to be that Shakur Stevenson didn't want to come in physical contact with De Los Santos. It was well known that Edward De Los Santos could potentially knock Shakur Stevenson out. And so Shakur Stevenson did the brilliantly minded thing and stayed out the way. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, he running. But look, man, I made a video on this one too. In that particular fight, Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson, right, did a absolutely superb demonstration of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like again, y'all say, oh, he was running. Yeah, he was running because he had to. That was the only way that he could ascertain a win. Why not run? You try to be great. That's what great boxers do. They do what they have to do to get the win, and they keep winning. That's how they become great. So I mean, let's not be too ill thought wise when it comes to Shakur Stevenson in that particular fight with Edward De Los Santos. I'm just trying to establish the fact that Edward De Los Santos is not no punk, right? In the sense that he come just for the smoke too, right? So that's what I'm saying about Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis knows. He knows Andy Cruz is about that smoke, and Andy Cruz will fight just as hard as Edward De Los Santos. That's why it's incumbent upon Keyshawn Davis, right, to make a statement by getting in there with Edward De Los Santos. And I think it's a heck of a statement for Keyshawn Davis to make because he is showing that he literally wants all the smoke, bar none. You know what I'm saying? He actually is acting in the capacity of, and when it comes to promotion, when it comes to not ducking nobody, right, of Devin the Dream Haney. That's how Devin the Dream Haney got to where he is today, right? But he called out everybody in his division, in the lightweight division. Everybody. He didn't bar none. He didn't care how bad you were. He wanted that smoke. This is exactly what Keyshawn Davis is doing, right? Mind you, minus Andy Cruz. Now, that is a fight that we need to see. You know what I'm saying? That would totally demonstrate that Keyshawn Davis wants all the dang smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, let's be perfectly clear, right? These cats in that lightweight division, that division is stacked. It is stacked to say the least, right? It is one of the fewer divisions in boxing, right, that somehow continuously maintains a status of being stacked. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of lightweights in that division, and I'm not going to go off into naming the forefront runs of that lightweight division because you already know, right? So let's be realistic when it comes to Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis is proving himself to be a worthy opponent for world-class status as a lightweight champion. What do y'all say? Hit that subscription button. Hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. And let me know what y'all think about how Keyshawn Davis is moving forward in a championship mindset. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, okay? And share the video with your friends and relatives. It ain't gonna cost you a dime to do that. Just like it ain't gonna cost you a dime to hit that like button, hit the subscription button. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. All it's doing is helping me move forward. And here's the deal. I know, and I constantly say this, but sometimes I can get psychologically lazy, right? I'm supposed to be at the top of the heat, but I understand why I'm not at the top of the heat. And I'm going to do something about that. Instead of talking about it, I'm going to do something about it. I just spent a considerable amount of money on new equipment, right? On desktops, right? There's more things that you can do, as is the case with most of these casts that's up at the top of the line when it comes to podcasting. There's more things you can do with a desktop. Right now, I got a desktop, but it's so antique and old. I don't even want to. Come on, man. Like I also have a Apple laptop, but I mean, it won't do what a desktop would do. So what I'm basically trying to tell you people is that you got to keep, you know what I'm saying, hanging in there with me. And I appreciate y'all that's hanging in there today, right? And helping the old man out. But one thing for sure and two things for certain. This old man knows some boxing. And y'all, if you don't know it, you're going to know it. That being said, I'll check you out later.